This show was brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is your number one source for the best deals on sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, and so much more. Go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use promo code BLUESEATS for $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code BLUESEATS only at SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast.
Pure dominance by USA Hockey at the Milan Olympics and NHL Trade Deadline rumors. What does it all mean? Find out in this edition of From the Blue Seats. What's going on, Rangers fans? Welcome to yet another edition of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by SeatGeek. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Follow us on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94. Use hashtag BlueSeats to chat with us on any and all topics at hand. Send us fan mail as well from theblueseats@gmail.com. That's from theblueseats@gmail.com. Also, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and subscribe on all audio platforms. And be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. We got a lot to discuss today. And I know, once again, it has been quite a while since there's been any content on the show and on social media. And again, I am sincerely sorry that I have been very inconsistent this year. Life has just been getting in the way constantly for me with work and personal stuff. But things are slowly starting to finally look up. And at the time of this recording, February 23rd, 2026, we are currently snowed in the New York, New Jersey area. So if you do happen to live in that area, wherever you're listening, I hope that you are staying safe, staying warm. And if you do have to shovel or go out anywhere, please use extra caution and give yourself some extra time. Take breaks if you need to, the whole deal. But bottom line is just please be careful if you live in the New York, New Jersey area. But anyway, first order of business today. What a performance by both the men's and women's USA hockey team, both winning gold in overtime, mind you, and both against Canada, which you just love to see. I mean, I have nothing but respect for our neighbors up north in Canada. I mean, they've been nothing but gracious to me. I mean, heck, THPN is based in Canada. So, I mean, Kyle and Dylan, I can imagine what the heck they're feeling right now with the heartbreak they had to suffer. But I do feel bad for them in a way. I really do. And Canada on the men's side was definitely the much better team. We'll definitely talk about that in a little bit. But on the women's side, I mean, you see the way those ladies play. My goodness. I mean, just whew. The PWHL's got some talent over there, man. It's unfreaking real what we saw by both teams. But we're going to dive into all of it, how they got to this point, and what they can do to be even better for the next Winter Olympics. And thankfully, I am not alone for today's discussion. He is the host of the Devil's State of Mind podcast and co-host of Flamescast with Kyle Manifold. Please help me welcome back on the one and only Neil Villapiano. Neil, long time no chat, my friend. It's a pleasure to have you back on the show. How's everything, and how you holding up in this blizzard here in Jersey?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, Jimmy, thank you as always for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk with you in whatever capacity that might be. Overall, I'm doing well. As you could tell by my outfit, I'm feeling pretty. I guess you would say patriotic.
Yes,
Feeling pretty excited about what happened yesterday early in the morning, and obviously the United States from the men's side finally bringing back the gold medal for the first time since the Miracle on Ice team in 1980. And like you were talking about, the women's team capping off what was a dominant tournament for them with so many storylines in their own right. Hillary Knight cementing herself as the greatest American-born women's hockey player ever. And this United States team in the women's side, arguably the best women's team this country has ever produced.
100%.
And the growth that the PWHL is getting from this is phenomenal. The growth of the game of hockey has been tremendous. And it's just great. It's really, really great. And obviously, the cherry on top for me is, our boy from New Jersey, Jack Hughes,
Yes.
being the American hero with the golden goal, forever cemented in USA hockey and Olympic history. And certainly a silver lining is in what has been a really disappointing year for the New Jersey Devils. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing well. I'm staying safe, staying warm. Got about 2 feet of snow outside. It's kind of impressive, honestly. It's not even
Yeah.
like
Same with us. We got 2 feet over by us.
luckily for me, I live now in a place where like the driveway is not like very long, so it's very easy to just kind of push that snow away. Thank goodness.
True.
Um,
True.
and it's fluffy snow. It's not even like freezing over, so it's not even going to be like that extremely difficult.
That makes me
But
feel a little
we're
bit
all good.
better.
Everybody's good. I'm good, and like I said, I'm just looking forward to jumping on here and chatting with you.
I appreciate that, man. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and it does make me feel a little better. You're saying the snow will be easier to shovel, which I have to do after I'm done recording this, so we'll see
Yeah,
how
you
that
should be
goes.
fine. You should be fine.
I hope so. But look, man, you mentioned it. Just a dominant performance by both the men's and women's Olympic ice hockey teams in Milan. And look, I think what's more impressive to me, bless you,
Thank you.
but I think what's more impressive to me is that not only did they both win gold, they both dominated. They both went undefeated. 6-0 each. A perfect 12-0 combined by both teams. First time in Olympic history that's happened. And I think it goes to show that the amount of talent that we saw on both rosters really is, I think it's unlike anything that we've ever seen. Even with some of these players on the men's side being NHL players, which was amazing to see NHL players coming back to the Olympics, by the way. It was refreshing to see. But especially on the women's side, you mentioned the talent in the PWHL, which is growing like crazy, which is amazing to see. But
Yeah.
you see both of these rosters, and I personally fully believe in my heart that this is some of the best hockey as a hockey fan, not even just as a Ranger fan, just as a hockey fan in general. This is some of the best hockey that I have ever watched in my life. To that, you say what?
To that, I say I would agree with you. I would agree with you on a multitude of different levels. Again, talking about first and foremost from the men's side, having the NHL be back in the Olympics for the first time in a long, long time was just such a breath of fresh air. It's no disrespect to the amateur players that we've seen the last couple Olympics, but as we've seen the last couple Olympics from the men's side, it just isn't the same. And
Mm,
many players don't get the opportunity to do this and to represent their country at the highest level. And these 20 plus individuals for Team USA, all NHL players, got to live a childhood dream and
yes.
got to be the generation that finally brought a gold medal back to the United States. And when the United States won yesterday, I thought about the teams of the past. I thought about the 2010 team that lost in the gold medal game in Vancouver. I think
Mm,
about the 2014 Sochi team and guys like TJ Oshie and Patrick Kane and Joe Pavelski and guys like that were great players in their own right, some of them Hall of Famers, but never got the chance to win gold. Never got the chance. Even top 20 players ever, Mike Modano, Chris
mm,
Chelios, they never got that opportunity to do that. And
yeah.
so this group that we saw got to not only win a gold medal for themselves, but for their country and for all of the players that came before them that either did or did not get it done. And it was great to see how much the late Johnny Gaudreau's influence had on this team and how much his influence is on USA hockey. And, seeing his kids out there taking pictures with the
Oh,
players, them holding up his jersey, taking pictures. I mean, if you didn't tear up then, I don't know what would make you tear up, because that was the ultimate moment there. So
that's what the game of hockey is all about, man. I mean, I'll be honest. I damn near cried like a baby when I saw that with them coming out with the Johnny Gaudreau jersey, just skating around, the kids, the family. I mean, how can you not get teary eyed over that?
no, exactly. And that's the big thing, right? It showed you that, well, the significance of this win is not the same as it was in 1980. It still had a major positive effect on so many people, and
Yeah.
things that were even bigger than just hockey.
Mm.
And when you look at it on the flip side from the women's team, this was one of the most important Olympics that women's hockey in general has ever been a part of, because
I agree.
as we mentioned, with the growth of the PWHL now in its third season, and seeing the true best on best, not just at the Olympics, but now playing in a professional league, getting paid like professionals, being treated like professionals. I mean, it's something that the women have been striving to get for so long, and to finally get the opportunity to not just play in the Olympics again, but know that they can go right back to their teams and keep playing. And these young girls and young kids in general can see these players, their heroes, play for more than just every 4 years, is tremendous. And this American team was led by not just some of the great veteran players like Hillary Knight, like Kendall Coyne Schofield, like Carpenter. You had up and coming players like Layla Edwards, the first black women's hockey player to
Yes.
play in the Olympics. You
Yes.
had Haley Wynn. You had Caroline Harvey, who was tremendous. You had unbelievable goaltending from Gwyneth Phillips and Irene Frankel. And all of these players that you saw are either in the PWHL, or within the next year or two are going to also be in the PWHL. And I said this earlier this morning when I was on Flamescast with Kyle, that if you can, support your local women's hockey team.
Yes.
I, for one, have been a New York Sirens fan since the beginning. For me, it was always about, it's more hockey, it's more opportunities, it's great to see. And the Sirens fan base has been growing. I've been to almost every home game this year. Barring anything crazy, I should be able to go to the game on Thursday night. We shall see, depending on the snow and all that.
I was gonna say, who knows how much snow will be cleared off by
But who
then.
knows, right? But if you have the opportunity, do it. And you know what's great? The PWHL posts all of their games live on YouTube that you could watch with ease. They make it so accessible to watch these players play and support them and everything like that. And I would really push people to do that, really push people to go and support these players even like Megan Keller, who has the golden goal in her own right. And
That goal was
one
absolutely
and it was a
disgusting. By the way, that was one of
disgusting
the
goal
best goals I've ever seen. That's a goal scorer's goal right
for
there.
sure. And she's a defenseman, which is even
Oh,
nuts, even more
oh,
nuts. But
unbelievable, man.
bottom line, to kind of wrap up my whole point, I absolutely agree with you that this was probably the best hockey we as fans have seen in a long, long time. And especially living in the United States, to see both the women and men get it done was incredible. And both of them were perfect in the round robin, perfect in the elimination rounds, gutted out 2-1 overtime victories over Canada to win the gold medal. And the one stat that I think stands out more than any is neither of these teams conceded not a single power play goal. That is
Mm,
really impressive that
yes,
both of them
yes,
never conceded. You're talking about the men who yesterday they were on a 5-on-3 kill against arguably the most impressive power play unit we have ever seen in
and they killed them
hockey.
off.
And they killed it off, and it was tremendous. So at the end of the day, this was phenomenal. And I'm glad that it's going to help grow the game, grow the women's game, grow the men's game, grow it at all different levels. And it makes you, in a way, despite both of our teams being at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, kind of looking forward to the rest of the regular season. And then obviously, the coup de grace, which is the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we all know, even with our teams not in it, we know how exciting and entertaining it really is. And also with the PWHL playoffs and the Walter Cup playoffs, as they call them,
Yes.
watching them as well, it is, the best is truly yet to come. And I think this is just the beginning of this new, young, maybe even golden generation for hockey in this world.
I think that if this doesn't get any non-hockey fan to become a hockey fan, I really don't know what else will, because the way that you saw those players go out there and play their heart, I don't care what team you follow. The fact that you get to see your favorite player, whether it be on Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, wherever the case may be, the fact that you got to see your favorite player represent your country and go out there and play his absolute heart out. We saw Mika Zibanejad go out there on Team Sweden and have an unbelievable tournament. Yeah. Unbelievable. Despite the fact they lost to the USA in overtime, Zibanejad was an absolute world beater in that tournament. If you're a Sweden fan, you got to be proud of that damn team. Especially with him leading the way, that's something to see. But the bottom line here is that these players have trained for this their entire career. And the fact that we got to see all these players go out there and represent their country, regardless of whether they won or not, I really feel like that this is going to help the game of hockey expand even more than we have seen in the last decade.
Couldn't agree more.
But look, man, I mean, talking about the men for a second there, the game yesterday, February 22nd against Canada. First of all, I hate the fact that it was that
birthday, by the way.
What's that?
George Washington's birthday, by the way.
I forgot about that, actually. Yes.
February 22nd is a pretty significant day for a multitude of reasons for the United States of America. So,
yeah, well, that is true. I mean, 46 years ago yesterday was when they last won gold, up until they won in overtime, which made it even sweeter. But look, the men yesterday, February 22nd. First of all, I hate the fact that it was at 8 in the morning. I had to get up at the crack of dawn to watch the game. But, I'm only kidding. It was worth the watch. But no, anyway, look, even if you're not a hockey fan, you're getting up to watch that game, as much as I like to joke around about that.
Would you have rather gotten up at like 5 a.m. to watch that game? Would you have rather woken up at 2 a.m. in Hawaii to watch that game?
My point exactly.
My point exactly.
Anyway. But no, look, me personally, I thought Canada was the better team throughout that entire game. I mean, despite the fact that, Matt Boldy gets them on the board, first shot, first goal, you're thinking, okay, USA's got something going here. They're keeping up the offensive pace. They're getting their chances. But Canada was the much better team throughout that entire game. I felt like USA got outshot 42-28. And it was still a 1-1 game going into overtime, leading up to your boy Jack Hughes getting the golden goal and USA winning the whole thing. But look, did Canada deserve to win that game? Me personally, I thought they did. I thought they were going to win that game personally, and I thought it was going to be in overtime. I thought Canada was going to win that game because, quite frankly, with the amount of chances they were getting, quite frankly, it should have been a 5-1 game. But Connor Hellebuyck, as much as I give this man, as much as I like to rag on this man a lot for lack of postseason success with the Jets, he really proved something to me in this tournament. He proved to me right now that he's one of the best in the game right now. I mean, there's no denying it, man. Connor Hellebuyck single-handedly kept USA in that game, and he is one of the main reasons why they have a gold medal right now.
I would say, first of all, Connor Hellebuyck has had success in the playoffs. Has he won a cup? No. He's been to a conference finals before. He's won several game sevens in his career, including just last year against Jordan Binnington,
Well,
mind you.
that is true. That is true.
Connor Hellebuyck is not one of the best. In my mind, he is the best goaltender in the world. I don't think there's anybody that's better than him right now.
Okay.
I know that people will say, obviously, especially on here, maybe someone like Igor Shesterkin. I get it.
I mean, look, with the way this season has gone, I mean, he's hurt right now. I mean, he's still one of the best, but I'm not going to go as far and say right now that he is the best right now. He's one of them, but not the best right now. That's just me.
Fair enough. I mean, and you also have, we know what Ilya Sorokin has been and what he's been this year in particular with the Islanders.
True. The very surprising Islanders, mind you.
Right. Well, sometimes all it takes is someone like a Matthew Schaefer to come in to bring new life into an organization. I mean, sometimes it just takes one player, but
true.
I agree with you to an extent. I think the U.S. was the better team in the first period, but I think from that point on, Canada dominated. And if it wasn't for Connor Hellebuyck, the U.S. would have lost 4 or 5-1. It wouldn't have been close, and it would have been a really disappointing and embarrassing way to end the Olympics. But Hellebuyck, with help from guys like Charlie McAvoy in the crease and guys blocking shots left and right, but mainly Connor Hellebuyck, kept the United States in that game. And their penalty kill was tested. It was 5-on-3 at one point. You go from having your own 4-minute double minor power play to Jack Hughes taking a penalty and giving Canada an abbreviated power play late in the game, which would have been also disastrous. But Connor Hellebuyck and that defense would not allow the Canadians to get another goal. And as they say, the old saying goes, I know it's a football reference, but it works here too, is defense wins championships.
Yes.
And so does goaltending. And Connor Hellebuyck proved how much of a big game goaltender he is, a big money goaltender. I think the perception of him has changed. It reminds me of Martin Brodeur in his first Olympics back in 2002. Even though he had won 2 cups, there was obviously criticism about him and saying, oh, it's a neutral zone trap. How good is he really? He was tremendous for Canada, helping them win the gold that year. And he gained a newfound respect from the entire hockey world, ended up going on to win several Vezina trophies, and ultimately cementing himself as the greatest goaltender to ever lace them up. I think that Connor Hellebuyck has exercised some demons. Will he ever win a cup in Winnipeg? That remains to be seen. Not this year, obviously, with how rough the season's been for him.
The Jets aren't doing anything this year, no.
Right. And it's unfortunate that some of the guys that were main catalysts of this team, we are probably not going to see them even play in the playoffs just because of how poor their team's overall performance has been. But then you get to overtime, and Jack Hughes had 1 shift the entire overtime. Granted, it was only like 100 seconds.
Right.
But he wasn't getting that much playing time anyway. I mean, no disrespect, but you had guys like Vincent Trocheck and JT Miller, for reasons unknown, getting way more playing time than I think they honestly should have.
Well, now hold on a sec. To be fair, I will say that the only reason I will say that they were a more underrated part of the lineup, I know some people will probably disagree with me, but hey, you know what? Come at me. I don't care. But I will say they were a very underrated part of that penalty kill. I mean, granted, there were a million other reasons why their penalty kill was fantastic. I mean, literally perfect. But Trocheck and Miller were a big part of that, man. They were very underrated on that team.
I would lean towards, I would say, I think Trocheck from a face-off perspective was more valuable in that than maybe JT Miller was. I think
that's fair.
I think that having someone like Nick Robertson or Cole Caulfield in particular over Miller would have been better, but I also got where Mike Sullivan was coming from. Although, again, Jack Hughes, I think, played I think he was averaging something like 8 or 9 minutes a night. And granted, he started on the 4th line to begin the Olympics, and then he ultimately made his way up to the 3rd line and really became much more valuable as we went along. I would have liked to see him play more, maybe now moving into 2030, maybe that will change. We got a long way to go before we get to that point, but
Four more years, man.
four more years for sure.
We got the Summer Olympics to get through first in LA, so that's gonna
This
be
is
fun.
I'm not a big Summer Olympics guy myself, so like I could that
That's
I could go either way with that. But
that's fair.
Jack Hughes comes on the ice and immediately has to try to go toe to toe with Connor McDavid, and he slowed him down enough to disrupt the shot so that it wouldn't, so he wouldn't get a grade A opportunity. And then you have the breakout, and you see the play where Werenski makes the pass to Jack Hughes, and Cale Makar is standing right there with as good of a chance as any to intercept that puck, pass it to McDavid, who would have been all alone and most likely would have scored then. But Jack Hughes makes a tremendous individual one-handed poke check through the legs of Makar to get that puck down to the right side into the Canadian zone, where Werenski won a battle with, I think it was Nate McKinnon, won a battle with him, got the puck, and Jack Hughes quietly getting over to the left side, getting wide open on the back end, on the backside, and Jack Hughes not missing. That is an area that Jack Hughes thrives in, right in that slot.
Yes.
He's got a wrist shot very similar to Patrick Kane, and I didn't think it went in the first second that it went in. But as we saw the celebration begin, we knew that he had scored. And for me, it was the first reaction was, oh my goodness, United States has won gold. The second thing was, oh my goodness, it was Jack Hughes that did it. My third reaction was, oh my goodness, the United States just won the gold. Like that was how I processed that 20 to 30 seconds.
And you were the one that said on social media, screw it, give me Jack Hughes to win it in overtime. I got to give you credit.
I just want to say, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. But first and foremost, I wasn't the only one that I saw that, predicted it. And really, I just threw it out there because I was being a homer. I was like, oh, screw it. Like, well, Jack Hughes, why not? And I think about my dad who had texted me and he said, watch, Jack Hughes is going to score. And I said, that would be insane. Not thinking that he would get much playing time in overtime. I thought maybe it would be like Austin Matthews or maybe one of the Kachuk brothers, Jake Gensel, Quinn Hughes even maybe. Like those were the guys that I was expecting. But for it to be Jack Hughes and have that entire play happen and he gets the golden goal, I could sit here today and tell you that I am beyond proud to be an American hockey fan and beyond proud now to be a New Jersey Devils fan. And the fact that we get to see this golden goal guy come back and play for the New Jersey Devils, I mean, we're so lucky. But I want to finish by saying one thing.
Yeah.
I was one of the people that said before this tournament began that I did not think that Jack Hughes deserved the right to be on this team. I did not think it because I was frustrated with him being hurt as he normally is. He missed the last 3 games before the Olympic break because of a groin injury. He had dealt with the hand injury earlier in the year and years before that with all the 2 shoulder injuries. And I wasn't necessarily criticizing Jack for his play or his abilities. I was more or less criticizing the fact that he continues to miss valuable time.
Yes.
And I know at times it's been very unlucky. And I would like to hope that maybe a moment as big as this one was allows him to put to bed and move beyond those moments and maybe put him on a trajectory to become that superstar, that consistent superstar that we look at with other guys like a Nathan McKinnon, like a Sidney Crosby, like a Matthew Tkachuk, guys like that. That's what I hope for, and hopefully he can build upon that.
Yeah.
But I didn't think when this tournament started that he deserved to be there. I thought guys like Jason Robertson and, as mentioned, Cole Caulfield deserved more of a chance because of what they had been doing that year and, that they didn't get a chance in the 4 Nations. And Jack started the tournament on the fourth line, and he found chemistry right away with Brock Nelson. And then he slowly developed that chemistry on a great line with Dylan Larkin and Tage Thompson. And he just got better every single game. And even before we got to the gold medal game, I had already said he has shut me up and he deserves my absolute, respect and admiration. And when he scored that goal yesterday, I had said to myself, at least for the time being, I will not be criticizing Jack Hughes for his play. I will never question his abilities and what he can do. And all I can hope for is moving forward. He is beyond these injury woes and inconsistencies, and he can just be the Jack Hughes that we know he can be. He just proved to the world Jack Hughes is that guy and that he is a big game player. And I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for the Hughes family. Ellen also getting a gold medal with the women's team. You have Quinn and Jack winning gold together. I mean, it was a great, great tournament for the Hughes family and particularly for Jack Hughes. And like I said, I couldn't be happier for everybody involved.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. And new customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use our code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL. All rights reserved.
Yeah, no, it was really something to behold. And, I jokingly said that, a New Jersey Devil had to do it with me being a Ranger fan and everything. But at the end of the day...
That's what Sean Morash said this morning on WFAN. He was like, "Oh, this kind of sucks that it was Jack Hughes," and I'm like,
just
cope, Sean.
Man. Look, in all seriousness, though, I mean, he absolutely deserves that moment. I mean, good for him to get that, and congrats to the entire men's hockey team. But just pure dominance all the way through. And real quickly to wrap this up, just the women again. I mean, just as dominant as you can get. Megan Keller with the absolutely disgusting game-winning goal by a defenseman. Yeah, that's a goal scorer's goal, as I said before. And Hillary Knight, I mean, talk about having a hell of an Olympics. I mean, not only does she win gold, but she also gets engaged. So congratulations to Hillary Knight and her partner. I mean, she had herself one hell of an Olympics, man. I mean, she was able to captain her team to a gold medal as well. The leadership that we have seen from Hillary Knight over the year, granted, she's 36. I mean, she's not getting any younger, so who knows how much longer she has left. But the fact that we don't even know if this was going to be her last Olympics. She said in an interview, we'll see. So we don't even know if she's even going to retire. Like I said, she's 36, but she doesn't even look like it. Let's be honest. She looks like she could play like an extra 5 years if she could. But look, the way that she was able to lead that team, as calm, cool, and collected as she was, shows me that she's the kind of leader that I would want to build my team around. The way that she conducted herself around that entire roster, man, oh man. I mean, I don't think that we will ever see this kind of dominance from the women, the men, or anybody like that unless something drastic happens. I don't think we're going to see dominance like this again.
It will be really interesting to see how things progress over the next 4 years as we, when we get closer and closer to 2030. It's going to be really hard to top what this collection of incredibly talented women's players just did for the better part of the last 2 weeks. For Hillary Knight, she's the consummate pro. She was one of the founding uh, movers of getting the PWHL to happen. Same thing with Kendall Coyne Schofield and Alex Carpenter and other great players. And I think what we saw in this tournament from the women is just a culmination of all the hard work that they put in over the last couple of years. And you really got to see what the future of women's hockey and the PWHL is going to look like with
Yes.
those talented players that we saw. Taylor Heisey, Carolyn Harvey. You look at Skamura, Layla Edwards, all of these players, and I know I'm missing out others, but trust me, we know who you are, and
Yes.
it's just so exciting. It's so exciting to think about the future. As far as Hillary Knight is concerned, she said we'll see, but she'll be 40 years of age by the time we get to those Olympics. And, I don't know how much more she has left in the tank. I will say this, though. If you have the chance to go see her while she's still playing for the Seattle Torrent in the PWHL,
Go do it.
Go do it. Because you'll have a chance to see one of the greatest women's hockey players ever, and certainly the greatest American-born women's hockey player of all time. And there is no debate about that. But I did want to give some props to Marie-Philippe Poulin of Team Canada, who plays for the Montreal Victoire in the PWHL. Captain, I forgot what they call it. Captain Clutch, I think that was her. That's her nickname. Yeah, that was it. And she's a gamer. She's been a great player her whole career. She gave it everything on Thursday, and it wasn't enough. And you could see the pain in her eyes. She's also up there in her mid-30s, and who knows if she'll be back in 2030. But same thing with her. If you get the chance to see her, which, again, if I'm going on Thursday, the Sirens are playing the Victoire, and I would like to hope that Poulin will play in that game. I will get a chance to see her. And shout out Kristen O'Neill of the New York Sirens, who scored the lone goal for Team Canada in the gold medal game on that shorthanded goal. Sarah Fillier and Kaylee Osborne also were on Team Canada, end up with a silver medal. So even though it's not gold, still congratulations to them and other players on the Sirens like Kristina Kaltukova. She was tremendous for Czechia, and she's going to be a great player for years to come. But again, it goes back to someone like Hillary Knight and the contributions she's made to the game of hockey and to women's hockey and women's sports will go down in history. It will never be forgotten. It'll never be dismissed. And for her to also break the record she did on that one goal just shows you the kind of player that she is. And it was really great to see.
1000%. It was just amazing to see overall, just pure dominance by both teams. And again, congratulations to both the men's and women's USA hockey clubs. And again, shout out to Team Canada and everybody involved. I mean, they definitely played hard. They gave us a fight. But you know what? USA, as dominant as they've been, again, a perfect 12-0 combined the entire tournament. They never let their foot off the gas. They deserve this moment. So congratulations to everybody involved. It is well deserved. Now, real quick, NHL Trade Deadline rumors to wrap up this.
I forgot. We have 25 more games left to go in the regular season. Totally forgot that existed.
That is true. But look, since this is a Rangers show, I got to ask you about the Rangers first, because I keep hearing a bunch of rumors now that Panarin is officially an LA King. I keep hearing rumors that, speaking of Vincent Trocheck, he might be the next one out the door. I keep hearing Minnesota's interested. Detroit may be interested. I keep hearing a bunch of teams out there. And I'm also hearing that Lafreniere may be close to getting out the door. And personally, I wouldn't mind that at all. Just saying. But look, I don't know who's going to be next. I mean, it already sucked to see Panarin go. But again, in my opinion, that's a deal that had to be done. I mean, as I was thinking about it more, I said, would you rather get the package that you got, or would you rather lose him in free agency for nothing? And me personally, I would take what I can get for him, even if it only was a conditional third or fourth round pick. And keep in mind that third round pick can become a second if the Kings win their first round playoff series. So, hey, it could happen, but we shall see. And Panarin also signed a 2-year extension there. So good for him. Congratulations. It's going to suck when we see you back at MSG in March. But hey, you know what? That's the business of sports. But with that being said, Neil, who do you think is next out the door? Is it Trocheck? Is it Lafreniere? Is it Braden Schneider? Who do you think's next?
I think Trocheck is the most likely next Ranger to get moved. With the contributions on the penalty kill and faceoffs that he had for Team USA, I think it's certainly elevated his trade value. I think the Rangers, who certainly need to get a lot younger, would, be much better off moving him. And he's going to have, suitors, like you mentioned. You talked about Minnesota, you talked about Detroit and other teams like that. I think at the end of the day, if you're Chris Drury, you just want to get as high of an offer as you can. I think you just trade him to the highest bidder, whoever that is. It doesn't matter. But I think he would be the next logical guy to get moved. Lafreniere, I told you this. I don't like to toot my own horn.
I know.
I told you this, that my biggest argument with Lafreniere going to the Rangers originally was not necessarily that I was upset that the Rangers got a first overall pick. It was more that the Rangers are not known to develop players. They can develop goaltending. We can give them that with guys like, Henrik Lundqvist and obviously now with Igor Shesterkin. But
as far as like actual like wingers and defensemen, they've had that problem for years now.
They've had that problem for a long time, and they haven't been in the business of really trying to develop them the way that they want to be. Adam Fox, I mean, the jury, I think to an extent is still out on him. I think it says a lot that he wasn't even on or considered for Team USA.
I mean, granted, he's hurt, but in a way,
true,
I get what you're saying.
I think that there was still skepticism overall that he may not even make the team in the first place. I digress.
I still think that was a crock, but anyway, go ahead.
I think Lafreniere is another guy similar to like what happened with Capo Caco. I think he just needs to go somewhere else and just, he just needs a fresh start somewhere. And I don't know where that would be exactly, but he's still a pretty productive player in his own right. I think he just needs to be in a better system. Braden Schneider, I'll be honest with you. I think it would be better considering he's still on the younger side. I would consider keeping him. Okay. That's a guy that I would keep. Overall, with any expiring deals that you have, or someone like a Trocheck or Lafreniere that have some value, even if they have term, you have to look at everything. If you're Chris Drury, if you're going to go and truly rebuild, not retool like you said the last time. Granted, that wasn't Drury. That was
I was the one that said you should just rebuild and call it a day. Don't use retool anymore.
And I think that that's really what it comes down to is like, if we're led to believe that James Dolan has the total, supports Chris Drury 100%, then let him, rebuild this team, or fire him. I mean, you could fire him if you want. I know a lot of Ranger fans would rather see someone else in the.
If he don't do something in this trade deadline, he's going to get canned. Whether it be after the trade deadline's over or after the season, he's going to get fired.
We'll see how things go as we get to the trade deadline. But those are the guys that I think you have to look at and consider. And I would caution Ranger fans with this. As much of a great player as he is, if you're going to go into a rebuild, are you really, really willing to have the best years of Igor Shesterkin be on a team that's not competing? And I say that because if Shesterkin, hypothetically speaking, were to be available in a trade, which goalies don't get traded very often, doesn't happen very often, you would like to think that you could get a pretty significant package for a guy that's considered.
Are they going to do that though?
Goaltender.
They just signed him to an $11.5 million a year contract though for 8 years, I think.
Yeah, right. No, 100%.
They're not just going to let him just get traded or walk away.
I'm not saying
that's the kind
no.
of goalie you want to build your team around.
Right. But also, the question is, how many years is it going to take for the Rangers to get really good? Where is Shesterkin going to be by the time we get to that point? Is he still going to be in his prime? Is he going to be at the end of his run and not be the same guy? I'm not saying you need to trade Shesterkin right now. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I think when you get to the offseason, I think you need to evaluate everything and think 3 to 4 years ahead of time. And just think about all of this and go from there. Would I want to see Shesterkin traded? No. I think Shesterkin should be a New York Ranger his entire career. I think he made that abundantly clear by signing a long-term extension in New York.
Yes.
I'd also like to see Jonathan Quick retire as a Ranger, which I think is very likely at this point.
He'll probably retire as a King with the 2 Stanley Cups he has, but that's just
He
me.
could sign a 1-day contract with them and call it a day. I mean, yeah, that's the way I look at it with the Rangers. It'll be interesting to see what happens for them at the deadline, and how Mike Sullivan goes from the highest of highs to coming back to a team that's bottom 5 in the NHL. So quite the flip for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Quite the flip. And hopefully Drury can pull some magic at the trade deadline with Trocheck, Lafreniere, maybe a couple of others, but we shall see. And last but not least, I got to ask, since you're always on the show, what do you want to see your Devils do, man? I know the Devils, Rangers are right below them, 8th, last in the conference. Devils are 7th, so I mean, even though they're above 500, they're still struggling to score. They're still struggling to defend. Their goaltending's been suspect. What do you want to see them do?
By the way, the Devils are the worst team in the NHL in terms of goal scoring. Just so you guys,
that's true.
And think about who's on that team, and you'd be surprised.
True.
Trade off what you have. Trade off assets. We have to accept that this season is cooked.
Yes.
You're on a 3-game losing streak, or 4. I don't even remember anymore. You're 11 points out of a playoff spot with 25 games to go. While it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Devils could come out of this break and go on a run, with the way the season has gone, the lack of consistency scoring, with the lack of good depth, still needing another top 6 winger, goaltending more or less with Markstrom being very inconsistent, it just seems extremely unlikely that the Devils will make up enough ground. And the other thing that it kind of comes down to is that, and I could speak for a lot of Devils fans, we want General Manager Tom Fitzgerald to be fired. This is year 6. And he has all of 2 playoff appearances to show for it, and has overcompensated so much from the time that team had the 22-23 season, which I know for you and Ranger fans, you'd rather forget about that year. I understand. But
yeah, I'm still trying to forget about it.
I think that should have been the beginning of the rebuild for the Rangers. That's my opinion.
Thank you. I
mean, they did win the President's Trophy and go to the conference finals not too long after.
Even still.
But for the Devils, they need new leadership. The system that they've been trying to run for years doesn't work with this team. This team is built around Jack Hughes, who unfortunately is not always on the ice, and that's an issue. You need to have a team that can withstand those kind of things. I'm not saying just play like he's not hurt, but you need to have other guys be able to have confidence to step up. And even with Jack Hughes back in the lineup, this team had been struggling to score. I mean, you would have thought that after losing 9-0 to the Islanders on national television would have been the sign, or the final nail in the coffin, that like someone's got to get fired, and then nobody gets fired. it really shows you where ownership is with Joshua Harris and David Blitzer. If I'm led to just believe what the reports are saying, it doesn't sound like the ownership wants to do anything big change-wise until the offseason. And I had said this before, that if the Devils don't make the playoffs or get there and get bounced in the first round again like they did to Carolina last year, Fitzgerald has no reason to still have a job. I don't see it. Do I think Keith should be fired? I don't think so, because I don't blame
That
him.
wouldn't be fair. That's literally like me saying, "Oh, people want Mike Sullivan fired for what? Like, what more can Mike Sullivan do with a roster like this?" Same with Sheldon Keefe.
Right. And I think Keith, while at times he has made choices that I don't agree with, and at times he can't seem to get these guys to take their game to higher levels, I just think that there just isn't much of a higher level with this team right now that you can go to. And I think this is more of a roster construction issue than anything. And the fear that I have right now is, we were hearing reports that Fitz wants to make a hockey trade, like something to kind of shake up the team. What I fear about that is putting yourself in an even worse position moving forward for when the next GM comes in. Because again, I think it's just so unlikely that Fitz keeps his job if this team just bottoms out the rest of the year or barely does anything in the playoffs. I know he already made a move to buy. He acquired Nick Bukestad right before the Olympic break, which was fine, but that should have been done 2 months ago, not now. That's the problem. I mean,
True.
he'll be on the team next year. He's a solid fourth line center. Not really, nothing against Nick Bukestad in the slightest. But you have an asset like Dougie Hamilton. I don't think that relationship is going to ever be repaired. I think that Dougie's playing at a really high level right now, and I think this is as good of a time as any. You've made it so abundantly clear to the media that you've been trying to move him, that he's blocked several trades and all that stuff. And I never will blame a player who has a no trade clause that decides to exercise it. I will always blame the general manager. Tom Fitzgerald, with 15 different no trade or no move clauses, is insane given the team that he has right now. I think that the best course of action is to move Dougie. You free up a lot of cap, and you have to restructure that defense. There's other guys that you can consider moving, maybe like Jonas Siegenthaler as well, Brendan Dillon on another end. I said this before with the Devils. They don't need to rebuild. They need a refresh.
Yes.
And to me, it's like, you have to give yourself the opportunity to go out this offseason and make wholesale changes and change the course of everything. Because this era of Devils hockey right now is going to be remembered for what ifs. And nobody wants to go through that. And you have an American hero now in Jack Hughes as your superstar player. And you have Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt and Timo Meier. And these guys haven't put it all together yet. I think that they can. They need the right leadership. They need a guy, a GM that is going to be aggressive and do things that are necessary, like a Bill Zito kind of guy.
Yeah.
So with the Devils, trade off assets, move guys, Dougie, Evgeny Dodonov, other guys like that, just create as much cap space as possible. Making a big hockey trade, unless we're getting somebody truly impactful, is not going to help this team in the now, and it's only going to hurt them moving forward. It's why I wanted to see Fitz get fired before we even got to the deadline, so that he wouldn't be tempted to do this. But he's going to do this because he's trying to save his job. But if Fitz really wanted to do right by the organization, he should admit that he has failed. He needs to sell off assets and allow the next GM to come in with as much space as possible to do things in a different way with a system that is better than what we've seen for the better part of the last 10 years. So, long-winded answer to what I want to see from the Devils at or near the deadline.
I mean, you couldn't have said any better. And, look, again,
Those
bottom line
games in
is,
March between us are going to just be awful. They're just
yeah.
going to be awful.
I mean,
Nobody
look,
wants to win. Nobody cares.
true. I mean, I am happy that the NHL returns this week. I really am, but outside of our teams being absolutely terrible, I have missed NHL hockey a lot, and I can't wait to see it back. But if both our GMs don't do something, I have a strong feeling that they are both going to be out the door at season's end. But we shall see. We shall see. But before we sign up for the night, Neil, tell people where they can find your show and where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, again, Jimmy, thank you so much for having me on. Really do appreciate it as always.
Anytime.
You can check out the Devil State of Mind podcast on YouTube. Just search Devil State of Mind podcast and you'll find it. I'll have a new episode out later on today, doing a very similar thing that Jimmy and I just did. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Devil State, Instagram, and Facebook, Devil State of Mind. Follow me on TikTok, just my name, Neil.Villapiano. I'll post clips and other content over there. Follow my Blue Sky account, just search Neil Villapiano. I'll post podcast episodes and other Devils content over there. And also listen to the podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever. Again, Devil State of Mind. And if you're on Apple or Spotify, do me a favor and do Jimmy a favor as well, because he's over on there too. 5-star rating on either one helps grow the podcasts, helps grow this network. It does nothing but good for all of us, and it takes all of 10 seconds to do. So I
100%.
recommend it. And also don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Blue Seats podcast here on YouTube. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell as well.
Yes.
So you get notified every time a new episode or any piece of content that Jimmy puts on here goes up. So yeah, and also really quick, I'm at the time of this recording, I'm doing a Jack Hughes USA Hockey jersey giveaway over on our Instagram, Devil State of Mind. So go over there. You still have time. I only posted it this morning. We'll give it a couple of days. And make sure you follow the instructions as well to get bonus entries. And who knows, maybe you'll be the lucky one that ultimately gets a golden goal hockey jersey of Jack Hughes.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, listen, you heard the man. Go follow Devil State of Mind on Instagram and go into that giveaway. That's going to be, whoever wins that jersey is going to be one lucky person. I will say that. But thanks for the promotion of my show. I was going to do it anyway. But look, go subscribe to the show from the Blue Seats and New York Rangers podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Rate us 5 stars, like, subscribe, the whole deal, and follow us on social media, X, Instagram, at BlueSeats94. Use hashtag Blues. Let's hear from you. What did you think about the men's and women's Olympics? And what do you think the Rangers and Devils should do at the trade deadline? Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, or let us know on social media at BlueSeats94. And send us fan mail from theblueseats@gmail.com. That's from theblueseats@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. But Neil, you know it's always a pleasure, my friend. Give my best to the family, and please stay safe in the snow.
Thank you, Jimmy, as always again. And you do the same with yours.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Big thank you once again to Neil Villapiano of the Devil State of Mind podcast and of Flames Cast as well for coming on the show to talk with me about the Rangers Devils trade deadline and the men's and women's USA hockey teams. Just, again, amazing stuff going around, and hopefully both of our teams will do some things at the NHL trade deadline. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. This is From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast. Go Blue Shirts, and we'll catch you next time. Peace!